pretty young mom when I got my diagnosis. It was the spring of 2010, and I had a 9-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and a 2-month-old. And I found out I had this rare autoimmune liver disease called primary sclerosing cholangitis. And back in 2001, I had been diagnosed with an autoimmune intestinal disease called ulcerative colitis. And the liver disease was a complication of the intestinal disease. There's no treatment, no cure. It can be a pretty slowly progressing disease, but it will ultimately cause liver failure. And as you can imagine, having 4 little kids, all I could think about was my baby's not having a mother. I was scared. I did some research on this disease, and that only scared me more. And I spent a lot of time in the hospital undergoing tests. In those first few years, I had a lot of emergency visits to the hospital too, and I had no idea how my life was going to change. I was angry, I was afraid, and my fear became crippling. But I also had no idea what incredible things were going to come from something so devastating. Very shortly after my diagnosis, I had an opportunity to lead a band at my church. Now, I had grown up in the church. I was a pastor's kid. I had grown up singing in the church, but I didn't play any instruments, and I had never sung with a band. In my late teens, I had picked up the guitar for the first time and just taught myself some chords, but I ended up having kids pretty young, so I didn't have the time to really teach myself more than just the simple basics, and I actually didn't even play for several years after that. So here I am with this opportunity to play just being thrown at me, and I'm feeling so inadequate. I have no idea what I'm doing, but something inside me is saying, yes, I can do this. And so I said yes, and I got some musicians together, and we rehearsed, and then we led worship at our church one Sunday morning, and it was so amazing. Not only for me, but for the band as well, knowing that we got this together in such a short amount of time, and also for the people we were leading, because they all knew what I had been going through, and all of us being able to see how God was able to use me and being able to see how he used this kind of a leap of faith was nothing short of supernatural. It was life-changing for me. It stirred something in me that I had no idea was there. I believe it had always been there, but it just needed the right time to come out. Now I had this fire in my soul. I wanted to just immerse myself in music and explore and see what this was and where it could go. I had a desire to write, but I really didn't think I had any idea how. I had written some things as a kid, like poetry and a few songs that I really wouldn't consider anything more than scribblings. But a few months later, I was a part of this Bible study, and we were watching this video where a woman was talking on fear. And while she was talking, I just started writing in my book, and it was kind of subconscious. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just spewing out thoughts. And after writing for a few minutes, I realized I was writing a song. And there I am with my tears streaming down my face, a soaked paper in front of me, my heart and soul poured out. And it was so freeing. I had let out all these fears that I had been hiding, trying to stay strong. And it was the most free I had felt in a long time, like this huge weight had just been lifted. After that, the floodgates opened. I wrote song after song after song, and it was healing for me. It was therapeutic. I got to a point where I couldn't go a couple days without writing, or I would feel okay. I had to write a song to get through. And this process of being able to give a voice to your feelings is really special. Even if it's just for yourself, if nobody ever hears it. But we want our expressions, we want our creativity, we want these parts of ourselves to be something that has an impact on other people. So fast forward to 2012, I had been writing more. I'm writing for about 1.5 years, and I'd been playing guitar more, getting better at that as as much as I could while raising 4 kids. And I was still playing with the band at church, and that was going really well. But I had this wild idea that I wanted to try to get some shows out at other places. And I don't know why, because I had zero experience with this, no knowledge of the music industry. I really didn't know how any of this stuff worked. But I contacted a guy who booked for our local farmer's market, and he was pretty skeptical, but he finally agreed to let me play. And the day I played at the farmer's market was a monumental moment in my life. There were a lot of people out and about, coming and going, but there were also a lot of people who just sat and listened to me play the whole time. The crowd response was unbelievable. For the first time in my life, I felt like I knew who I was. I felt like I knew who I was made to be. So after the farmer's market, I started playing a lot more shows out at concert venues and festivals. And again, I had this wild idea. I wanted to record an album. And I just think it's so crazy looking back on this, because I really did not know what I was doing, but I believed that I could. I had this childlike innocence in my ambitions, and I guess that's really what we need to have to be able to pursue a dream and not hold back. After seeing how God had been with me so far, and that He'd given me this gift of music at this time in my life, I knew that He would be with me through this, whatever that meant. However this was to play out, I knew that it was gonna work how it was supposed to. Someone mentioned crowdfunding to me, and after doing some research, I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And so I launched a Kickstarter campaign in March 2013. And how Kickstarter works, it's an all or nothing deal. If you do not raise your goal, you set a goal and you have a certain amount of days, and if you don't raise that much, then you don't get any of the money. But if you do raise that much or more, you get all of it. I felt like I had enough people who believed in my music, the quality of my music, and my message, that I would be able to fund this. And I raised over $16,000, which I'm still in awe of this today. I always will be. I'm so humbled by the fact that people believed in me enough to make this happen for me. I recorded in May 2013 up at a studio in British Columbia, and I released my debut album, Run Free, in August 2013. After a little more time of performing and writing and more raising of kids and life experience, my family and I sold everything we owned, and with the help of our amazing community, we set off on a cross-country tour. And it was a risky thing to do, but at this time in our life, we knew that if we didn't do this, we would regret it. It was an incredible experience for my kids and for myself to be able to play in all kinds of different venues, meet tons of different people, play with different musicians. We made lifelong memories on this trip, and for my kids to experience these things that most people wouldn't get to in an entire lifetime is really amazing. The tour landed us in Florida, and we didn't intend to stay, but life happens, and here I am, still in Florida. I'm still performing, doing everything I can in music, and working toward a second album. Often I've thought about why this couldn't have started when I was a lot younger, like it does for most musicians. Why didn't I have the opportunity to develop music from a young age? I feel like I would be so much better and so much further along in my career right now. And that's a hard thing to think about. But if I hadn't come about it the way I did, I don't think I would have the depth and the heart in my writing and performing that I do today. After everything I've been through, chronic illness, raising 4 kids really close together, going through divorce, being a single mom for a while, and everything that comes with all of that, and what most of us struggle with on a daily basis, I can understand people and connect a lot better than I would have at any other time. I have a hope to offer because I've experienced that hope. I know the struggle, and I have seen many ways that God's love and grace has been in my life. And what are our struggles if not for helping other people going through the same things? Life is hard, we all know it. Life is messy, but it's beautiful when we love each other and we can share in these things together. My music career, although really amazing, incredible, it's also been really hard. I've got symptoms from both of my illnesses that I deal with on a daily basis that make performing difficult sometimes. And I have children, which I don't look at as a limitation at all, but they are the most important thing in my life, so I can't just run out and tour. I don't have the funds to record or do a lot of other things I would like to do. I don't have the time to spend to write a lot or practice a lot and play a lot. But if I'm able to show my children that I can be a mom and pursue my dreams, if I'm able to show them that I can work hard for them and work hard for music, if I'm able to give them an example of not letting life circumstances, not letting life struggles hold you back from your God-given gifts, from what you are supposed to be doing, if I can teach them that, then they can do anything in life. And to me, that is the ultimate success. Music was life-saving for me, and I want my music to be that for other people.
Like the wild horse runs in the mountains, like the sun sets beyond the sea, like the wind blows through the trees on a crisp autumn evening, wild and free. It can't be caught, it can't be tamed, it cannot be held still. It can't be touched, it can't be felt, it can't be stolen away. Run free and be who you were made to be. Run wild and find the beauty that hides inside, that hides inside. Like the moon floats in the clouds above, like the bird soars in the endless sky, like the thunder that rolls out of sight on a stormy night, wild and free. It can't be caught, it can't be tamed, it cannot be held still. It can't be touched, it can't be felt, it can't be stolen away. Run free and be who you were made to be. Run wild and find the secret that hides inside, that hides inside. Oh, 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 let it go, let it make a path of its own, a path of its own. Oh, oh, let it out, let it show, let it shine, let it grow, let it soar, let it fly, let your heart be alive, lies inside, and let the hidden beauty rise, and be free to be who you are created to be. Be free to fulfill your destiny. Start with your heart, let it be free, and let it run wild, and let it be seen. No, oh, oh.